I recently bought this 2005 6-speed TSX. In this video I'm going to fix the damaged MUGEN duckbill it has. The clear coat is peeling in many areas and it has a pretty bad chip right here. I do really like the Acura seats that a previous owner put in the car. So far I've restored the headlights on the car and they look a lot nicer now. I still do like how the car looks without the wing, but as you can see there's holes in the trunk. It was a long process to take off the double-sided tape from the bottom of the wing, but I used this Dremel tool with some different heads and it worked pretty well. It just took some time. First thing I did was sand the entire wing with some 220 grit sandpaper. I had been sanding for a while at this point, but it still needed more. I used some of this Bondo putty for the chip in the wing and it worked pretty well. I just had to do a lot of thin coats on it. So then before primer I switched to a 600 grit sandpaper and sanded the whole thing. So it was a lot smoother now after the 600, and I also did take the MUGEN emblem off the center part. I made it a bit more shiny with some clear coat. Right before the primer I also added more of that putty and then sanded it down, and then now we're onto the primer. And I did use a sandable primer as I wanted to make sure all the cracks and the faded clear coat were all smoothed out. Looked pretty good after the primer, but still some things would need to be fixed, like that crack right there, and we do end up compressing it and putting some glue inside. It's the next day now and I use more of that Bondo putty to fill in that crack. So I did polish this front lip already, but I wanted to sand it down and repaint it. This is what it looked like before, pretty bad. Same process as the wing on here. Just the sanding followed by the putty, more sanding, and then primer. Here's the wing finished with primer. That chip that used to be there is basically gone. Next I used 600 grit sandpaper after the primer had dried. Did some masking for the lip as well. Probably should have painted the whole thing, but I had only bought one can of paint. So what I bought was this paint scratch touch-up paint, and then mixed up the carbon gray pearl from my Acura TSX. I like the way it sprayed, it had a nice vertical spray. And here's me spraying the first coat on the wing. And then on the front lip and bumper as well. After 3 coats on each, the wing looked alright, some spots didn't really look too good. The clear coat does make it look a lot better though, but still you'll see some of these areas kind of looking strange. I had better results with the front lip and bumper. Here I'm applying the 2K clear coat. I did about 3 coats, the last 2 were pretty wet coats, and I really like the way it came out. It's really glossy. Still doesn't look perfect, especially from this angle, but some other angles like the side ones look really good. Obviously still a massive improvement from what I started with, and I'm pretty happy about it as it's one of the first times I've really painted stuff like this. And then with the front lip and bumper, I think it actually came out near perfect in my opinion.